Hey, welcome back to Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. It's actually very rare that I bring on a guest more than once. That's because I like to introduce our listeners to as many amazing people doing amazing things as possible. But I am very excited to be rejoined by wealth advisor and co-founder of Intention Financial Partners. You've heard him on the program previously. That's Zach Larson. And Zach is the inspiration behind a really important charity that just conducted just an absolutely incredible event, Solstice Century. And I am super excited to, again, be rejoined on Get Down to Business by the one and only Zach Larson. Zach, welcome back.
Thank you. What a thrill and introduction. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So I love to talk about charities. I love to talk about great causes, and that's exactly what this is. I only wish I could have been there in person, but unfortunately I am quite a distance away. But Zach, let's talk a little bit about your amazing event, Solstice Century, and why you are so committed to the work of mental health and community services in our local neighborhoods.
Well, I'm committed to the work for a lot of reasons that many can get behind. There is a need, there's a desire to help and to give back. I've had my own struggles with mental health through the years. So I know there's great places doing great things, and I wanted to find ways to connect with them and to connect others to them. So this bike ride idea came about, and Shalom, I'm not going to let you off the hook for being far away. We had people from 6 different states come into Illinois for this 100-mile bike ride event.
That's awesome. Well, I'm hoping that this becomes something that's a repeat event, and many more opportunities for fundraising for a great cause. Zach, you and I are connected on LinkedIn, and you're often challenging people to get riding, telling folks that you'll donate to charity of choice if I think there's your record on Peloton is beat. Is that right?
Yeah, I did something fun last winter, just in the doldrums of the indoor riding season here in Illinois, and said, let's have a little fun with it. And what a cool response. People just jumped into the idea. They all did their rides from home, and a couple people beat me, and I had to, I got to send some money to places they cared about. And then other people didn't, but they took the challenge. And so I just matched their gift anyway, and we both gave to them. It was pretty cool.
Absolutely. And the event is again called Solstice Century, and you seem to like the number 100. There's a lot of things about this event, 100, that have been tied over here. Can you tell us a little bit about essentially the accomplishments of this work that really you have been the inspiration behind? And I want to say that I want to give you all the credit, but the reality is that I know this has been an effort that everybody that has been involved in this amazing event, this amazing work and charity impact, it's really combined to, like I said, a lot of 100. So what are the hundreds that we're talking about over here?
For sure. 100 riders. I wanted to challenge people to do something that they might have thought would stretch their comfort zone. So this ride was not just for people who were normal cyclists. It was for people that had never done it. And we had about half who were experienced riders and half who had never attempted something like this. So they trained for it, they got behind it. The other goal was to, instead of charging them an admission and raising money that way, I got my company and some local corporations, companies to sponsor the ride so that riders could do it for free. And then they were challenged to go out to their networks and raise funds. And we had everybody meet the $1,000 goal that we set for them, and some went way beyond that. So that leads into the third goal of trying to get to $100,000 raised. We didn't quite get to the number of riders we hoped for this year, but we'll try again another year. But we're going to be really close on that fundraising goal.
$100,000 for, again, important work in mental health and, again, community support. And I have to say, when we're talking community, I know that the ride kicked off in Oswego and 100 miles. So you are a cyclist. You hang out on your Peloton quite a bit. Who knows? Maybe you're even doing this interview on your Peloton right now. That'd be impressive. Have you made any cyclists out of some of your clients and friends?
Yeah, I think we're going to have some converts from it. I switched into cycling 6 years ago on my 40th birthday and said, I need a physical challenge. I rode with some friends. They just rallied with me, and we rode across the state of Iowa in a big ride. And they've gotten into it. So my team, the team of Rec Danus, we've ridden together in 6 different states now, these 100-mile rides. And I think we're going to get some other people to join in. Some of them have fallen in love with this sport too.
That's huge. Again, I'm chatting with Zach Larson, who we've had on the program previously. He's a wealth advisor, co-founder of Intention Financial Partners. We're going to continue our conversation with him in a couple of minutes after a quick break. But Zach, before we cut to break, I know you have, I believe, 4 kids, 4 boys, if I recall. What were they doing during this ride?
Well, I was lucky to get 2 of them with me. One's out of town on a church work camp, and the other came to support, but 2 of them did it with me. I'm so proud of them for putting in the effort and being part of a great impact.
Well, I think that might have been your goal to get to 100 is, you got your 4 boys, so that gets you even closer, and that definitely helps, right?
That's right. Yeah, we couldn't have done it without a collective team effort. It was a lot of people from my work that chipped in. A woman named Betsy Bevel was there with me every step of the way on all the logistics, a lot of great local companies. And at the end of the day, there's about 10 different local charities in our area and around the country that are going to benefit greatly from the impact of all these committed people.
Fantastic. We're going to squeeze in a very quick break, and we'll continue our conversation with the founder of Solstice Century in just a moment and get down to business. Don't touch that dial. Hey, welcome back to Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. I'm chatting with the founder of Solstice Century, the chief instigator, avid cyclist, business owner, and a passionate advocate for mental health and community awareness. That's, again, Zach Larson. Zach, we've been chatting all about this past week's amazing event, raising close to $100,000 for important work. And I know this is just the beginning. I know there's going to be a lot of good stuff that will come. But Zach, when we had you last on the program, we talked about your firm, Intention Financial Partners. You have a couple of colleagues on the team. If you don't mind, let's zoom out as we talk a little bit about I guess how you've been able to build such a fantastic network. And I know this isn't just work for you. You've developed some friendships and some community supporters along the way.
We've been so lucky through the years, and we have tried to live out what our name says, which is taking 2 words, intentional and generous, and smushing them together. And that's the core of our business. So a lot of people, when they hear financial planning or investment, retirement planning, all they think is numbers and picking stocks. And obviously that's part of the work that we do. But my experience shows most people have lived kind of accidental financial lives, and we want to help them be very intentional with their money. So we talk about the purpose of it. What are they trying to accomplish with it? What are their goals? And oftentimes generosity is part of that. People just haven't had the confidence in their own plans to do it. They didn't know if they were on track. And so we help people know if they're okay. We help them know if they're on track, and we try to get them to think about things that maybe they weren't thinking about.
Yeah, so it sounds like you practice what you preach of, again, living generously. And I know you guide your clients along the way. Your website, by the way, you talk a lot about your philosophy of, again, empowering clients to live with greater purpose by making the right financial decisions at the right time. So I'm sure you've had many interesting conversations with your clients about everybody has their cause, everybody has their issues, whether it's, again, animal issues or whether it's homelessness and so on. For you, you've been candid, and I appreciate it. Again, some of the challenges that you've had over time with mental health, and obviously now your passionate support for it. So when you broached this idea with your partners in the firm, did they think you were crazy?
A little bit. And a lot of people, as I've asked or talked with them about bike riding and doing 100 miles. They've said, you're crazy. And everyone says I could never do it. And that was part of why we did this ride, is to say, yes, you can do it. And whether it's physical goals people have or financial goals, we're trying to help create a framework that they can get where they want to go. And we talk a lot about priorities and commitments and habits. And people prioritize this ride. That's why it worked. They committed to it and they changed their habits. They got training. And a lot of those same philosophies show up in financial planning too, is you can't just say, well, I want to retire at this point. I want to buy a vacation home. I want to give more money. You got to reprioritize what you're doing and commit and put some habits in place. And that's, I think, at the core of our work, and certainly is what allowed a lot of people to do something pretty impressive with this Solstice Century ride.
That's fantastic. Well, I want to make sure folks can learn about the efforts of Solstice Century. I know that you'll have future efforts and future ways that folks can support and get involved. But I want to make sure folks can get in touch with you. How can they do that?
Check us out on our website, intentgen.com. It's intentgen.com. Intentional and generous, and we will help them focus on living intentionally.
Fantastic. Zach Larson, thank you so much for the work that you're doing in the community, first and foremost. That's huge. We will definitely be there to promote, to advocate, and to amplify your efforts. And I just can't say thank you enough for that. And thanks again for coming back on and inspiring our listeners. We'll make sure that we link in our show notes and, of course, in social media to get people in touch with you. But that's a wrap for us this week on Get Down to Business, the show all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. As always, you can on my website, syklein.com, or get on your favorite podcast app so you can subscribe, rate, review, and share. To success, let's get down to business. We'll see you next week.